We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping. We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby.
Hey, what's up, Chicago? And welcome back to another episode of Speak Your Mind Radio. This is season 16, episode 577. And today, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is MzHipHop, aka Queen Starr. Boom. I'm just a little excited today because we got a special guest in the building, all right? We're going to be chopping it up with vet MC Mr. Ripley on his successful independent record label called Rulerz Inc. Plus, we'll discuss his newly released single called Levitate featuring Planet Asia and Pab Montega. So without further ado, up next to the mic, the one and the only Mr. Ripley. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's Sunday and, it's a blessed day.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ripley, here at Speak Your Mind Radio, we do a traditional icebreaker question for all the artists. So let's get started.
Let's go.
All right. What is your favorite era of hip hop? And I think I know, but why and why?
I would say between 90s, like maybe 92 to like 96 or into 99.
Okay.
I mean, that's when I really fully understood hip hop. Before that, I was a fan before that, and I love Run DMC and all them, because those were the ones who caught my attention. But I really was just like just a fan. By the time the 90s came, I understood hip hop, and it was more of what I am to hip hop now, as a contributor and like a historian type of thing.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, being a historian of hip hop, especially from the early 90s, because that's one of my favorite eras too. You feel me?
Yeah.
So Mr. Ripley, how was your life growing up in Jersey? Like, being surrounded around music.
Well, my dad and his friends, my dad is a Panther from the 70s. So it was a lot of, in my household, it was a lot of like abstract jazz more than anything. That's what he listened to, him and his peoples, his friends. They would come over and, and be partying all night, smoking, drinking, loud. My mom hated it, but I was always in the other room just listening, you know what I mean? What kind of really brought me into hip hop, because a lot of the records that he would listen to when he's at work or something, I would, as a kid, I remember taking records and just laying them across the carpet and just like roll my Hot Wheels across them. But the pictures, the album covers just stuck in my mind. And certain sounds. So when I started listening to, like, when Tribe Called Quest and them got big, when they started doing the jazz thing, all these songs that I heard as a child, now I hear them to hip hop beats, and it just it sprung something. And then my father heard me listening to this stuff, and he was like, "Yo, who the hell is this?" So I explained to him, and Tribe Called Quest, and he listens to them to this day.
Man, that is incredible. Yeah. First of all, funny imagination, because I was imagining what you was telling me. You taking your bike and going across the records on the carpet. I know your father was pissed at that.
Not my bike, the little Hot Wheel cars, like the Matchbox cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Matchbox car. My bike would have broke all his records and he would have kicked my ass.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay. But the fact that you got your father into listening to Tribe Called Quest is really, it's a good thing, because you took from his music and now he's listening to what makes you groove. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And another thing with, but before Tribe Called Quest, he was really hooked on KRS-One, because my father's name is Kevin Richard Chameau. So his initials are KRS, And one day I was listening to By Any Means Necessary, and the album cover, KRS-One is in the window like Malcolm X. So my father seen that and was like, yo, what the hell is this you listening to? And I showed him, and he's a fan of hip hop. I probably wouldn't be as big into hip hop if he wasn't as big into hip hop.
That is straight dope that your father was a Black Panther too, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I still have a lot of that history he left me that I hold on. He's still alive, but the things he gave me, like I got a foot locker full of the Black Panther newspapers.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I still got his jacket in the closet, his black leather jacket and everything.
Oh my God, that is so cool. I love it. Okay, so now you've been rapping since you was like 10 years old, and I think that's incredible that you can even rhyme at 10, because I was digging in my nose at 10 years old. I mean, you know?
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, like, how was that first time that you rhymed, like hitting the studio, especially, you know, trying to catch that vibe?
Well, hitting the studio, I didn't start getting into the studio till I was about, I think it was my freshman year of high school. So I was about 14, 15. But at 10, it's like I said, I was born in 76, so that was 86. So that's when when I heard Rakim, like I was a fan of Run DMC and the Fat Boys, but Rakim kind of changed it and slowed it down, and the things that he was talking, I heard my cousins and my dad talking, so it kind of like resonated with me. So I started rapping, trying to figure. First, I would write down his lyrics, and anybody's music that I like, I would sit there with the headphones and write them down, and I guess that taught me how to write my own music and learn my own rhythms and stuff like that. So, but by the time I got 14, once I got into high school, that's when we started going to a local studio and started recording.
Oh, okay. So there we have it. It's starting already, because the reason why I asked you that is because, like, I wanted to get into the 90s with you and your music. There's this one question I have on here. How has the music changed from the 90s to right now? Like, what elements would you try to bring back?
I mean, I think it's just like artists today, whether they're doing whatever type of genre of hip hop they're doing, I think that they need to look at it as a craft. Like, look at it as being like a carpenter, or even if it's like you're playing basketball, it's something that you got to keep working on. It's not just, I just going to write it down and say this and that just to get rich. You know what I mean? Take it as writing is a craft. Like, I took creative writing in school. So, you know what I mean? It was just, writing has always been a thing to me. So and it's not like when I write, I don't just write anything down. Even if I'm rapping about rapping, it's got to mean something to me. You know what I mean? And so I would say that these young kids need to figure out the art of it, not just the monetization of it. Find out the art of it and find out, your niche. Make it an art and not just, like I said, not just a job. Because so I would say in the 90s, all these rappers, most of them, there was people that, fell off and did their thing where they didn't care about being an artist. But be an artist. You call yourself an artist, be an artist. An artist isn't just an employee.
No, you definitely right about that. To study the craft is the art itself, and the fact that you were listening to people like KRS-One back in the day and writing down all his lyrics and studying them, that helped you to learn how to rhyme yourself,
And also these young guys, young artists need to read, That's the most important thing to being a good MC is reading something. Because your brain is a muscle too. So if you don't use it, it'll get weak and won't, And that's why I'm not like disrespecting any of the young kids that's making music today, but it lacks things because from what I see, they don't read. I teach my kids read today, but I'm trying to make them separate from everybody else. But I think reading is like, to me, that's like my secret weapon. I got a library of books and I'm always buying books. My dad still sends me a new book every week.
Wow.
It's always I'm always reading. That's a tool of mine.
That's beautiful. I love to hear that from you, brother. Yeah, reading is fundamental. I don't want to glaze over that. So yeah.
Yeah, you gotta put that out there though.
Definitely. So Mr. Ripley, like, what pushed you to start your own independent record label? Like, what artists and producers do you have on the label so far, Rulerz Inc?
Well, what pushed me to start it was just that when I moved to North Carolina in 2002. So I left Jersey and moved out here, and I felt like I never stopped. Since I started, I've been doing this I've been rapping with friends forever, and a lot of them stopped. I never stopped because I felt like it was something that I was good at. But I just started Rulerz Inc. because I felt like I moved. When I was in Jersey, I was able to go to New York and, rub elbows with certain people and make things happen. But when I moved here, I moved further away from it. And North Carolina the sound out here was different, especially when I got here in the 2000s. The sound was different. It wasn't, everybody was doing, the trap or whatever it was. Right. So I was still doing how I rap today. But when I moved out here, I linked up with some guys who already had a recording studio out here, and they needed another engineer. And I'm an engineer, so they had me working in there. So that it just caused me to me and my cousin. Rulerz is our hometown. We call our hometown Rule Born. It's called Red Bank. We call it Rule Born. Rulerz is, if you from out of town, somebody asks you where you from, you say you're from Rulerz. So that was what we changed. That's why we use that as just our home base. And we intended on keeping it our sound, the sound that we created. So I just started that because, like I said, I felt like I was too far away from New York to be trying to catch somebody's attention for a record deal. And we was like, man, let's just do it independent. And this was before, only thing it was MySpace. I would say that was in Black Planet. That's what we used to put our music on, Black Planet or MySpace. We were just making music to listen to it really at the time. But, it was just me and my cousin held on to it. He ended up doing a lot of time. So I just continued to do it while he was gone. You know what I'm saying? And it's built into what I got today. And today, it's me, Mr. Ripley, it's Pab Montega, it's Mars Hall, and Buck Gotti, Mean Mo, and Zulu 7. So most of them, besides two of them, are from my hometown, Red Bank. The other two, like Zulu 7 is from North Carolina. He's one of those artists that I met when I first moved down here. Me and him been hanging out and recording music since then. And then my man Buck Gotti, he's from Jersey too, but he's from another part, and I met him down here. So those are the artists, and plus I work with another artist named Highway 730, but he's from Jersey, but he got his own thing, him and another couple other artists. And then I have a whole bunch of producers that I linked up with from all over the globe, and that's our sound now. So we have I think it's 8 producers that we work with, like our in-house producers. So they send me beats all day and I just push them amongst the team. Those producers, we got Cinematic, we have Gold Magnum Opus, we have Big Classic, Lit Man 1, Echo Press Music Group, FA Machine. It's a lot of us, man. We got a lot of work going on. Oh, man. That's why we're trying to keeping the engine rolling and staying busy, because we're able to record a lot of music.
That is incredible. I mean, that's like a shitload of music coming out of everywhere, every direction. And that's what the hip hop world, especially underground, needs. Is most of the talent is underground. To me, it is, Yeah. But I know back in the day, like up in the 90s, you told me that you had a big deal back in 1995 and with the hit record, The Madness Rays of Sun. Talk to me about that.
Well, that was in 95. Between, I would say, 91 to 97, The Madness was a group. And it was people from, one of the guys, Mars Hall, I've been rapping with him for 30 years. We still, he stopped, but I pulled him back in the gym and shit. But he was a part of Madness, and there was a couple other artists. Two of my cousins, one was a producer, one was another artist. This was something we formed, that was in the 90s, early 90s, maybe 90, 91. Like my cousins, they already had it built. I was still young. I was the youngest, one of the youngest members of that group from that album. I think I was the youngest, I believe. No, it's one other guy that was younger than me. And but yeah, we would have shows at bars, and because everybody else was older than me and the other guy, we couldn't even go to the show. Because we were still 16 and 17 years old. But that we recorded, that's when we would use disc makers to make albums, the 12 inches. And we got our music into the record pools that were going on back then. So somebody bought a couple records from us from the record pool, and in the mix of us, things got big from us getting in that record pool. We had a couple labels, couple deals on the table, and everybody was young and everybody was greedy, and none of it worked out. Like the day the contract was on the table, we all fell out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we all fell out. Nobody agreed on who was getting what percentages. And like I said, I was 16, 17 years old, so all I wanted to do was rap. I didn't even care, but I left that, and then I left that situation and went straight to another studio and just kept doing my thing. But that madness, it resurfaced in 2008. Somehow it resurfaced back. I don't know how it got big, but the guy that made the beats, he still had like a bunch of the old 12 inches from back in the day. So he ended up wholesaling them to some company, and they re-released them. Those 12 inches go for like $400 a piece now.
Yeah.
And
so by y'all not really taking hold of that record deal back in the day, that means y'all don't get profit off the music that y'all made, the record?
Nope. Like I said, I was 16. I ain't signed nothing. But the crazy thing is how I knew it came back out, because the guy called me, the producer. He called me and he was looking for my cousin, because he was saying he had some money for my cousin, but I didn't know what he was, he was like, yo, you know how to get in contact with him? I haven't seen him in a long time, but I never knew why he called me till my cousin finally called me back and was like, yo, LaSalle sold them all them records for a certain amount of money, and he broke me off. So I'm like, where I'm at?
Right.
Yeah, but nah, he never broke us off. He gave my cousin some, but everybody else, nah, he didn't give us nothing. He sold him the catalog for a lot of money too.
You know how much he sold the catalog for?
For 50 stacks.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. He sold the cat. We had 2 albums, 2 12 inches, and he had I think he said he had like 700 albums pressed up. So he sold that, and plus all our masters, for $50,000.
Oh my fucking goodness. Like, I'm sorry to keep cussing, but I'm just like, damn. Now after that, I'm pretty sure you just wanted to keep rapping, and you knew the importance of keeping the masters, right?
Yeah. That's another reason why we Rulerz Inc, because we own everything and we rule our own. That's how it's supposed to be. Supposed to rule your own.
For sure. And speaking of music, now I want to get into it now. Your single Levitate. Now, tell me the backstory on that piece. Like, how did you get everybody to get on one accord to release Levitate?
Well, Planet Asia I've been, a fan of Planet Asia, as well as everybody else in Rulerz. We all love Planet Asia because he's like if you an underground independent artist, like he's one of those guys that, you need to follow his formula, because he's making a living off of being an artist. You know what I mean? And a lot of underground artists gotta go to work every day, or however they do to feed their family. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been a fan of Planet Asia. So, I had put in some plugs and made that happen. And like I said, Pab he's like me and him grew up from the sandbox. He's my little brother. So he loved Planet Asia too. So I was like, yo, this would sound like a perfect track. Cinematic made the beat, and that's how it came out.
That's dope. Okay, so they're in Planet Asia, I'm sorry. In Levitate, there's this one line everything stood out to me, but I really like it when you said 8 ball in the corner pocket, the corner profit, build pyramids with projects, mathematical concepts. It's a part of the process. This ain't a bomb threat. We dropping nukes. Stop, shoot, and even my ops salute. You not the truth. We got the proof. Can you break that down for everybody out there? Because that shit was cold.
Okay, well, I was, referring to the 8 ball in the corner pocket. It was just like, they be talking about the sticks, they talking about the sticks in the rap thing. So, and I want to make it clear, like, when I'm talking about ops, I'm not talking about any other black man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the establishment,
Yeah.
corrupt police officers. Those are my ops. You know what I'm saying? There is no black man out here that's my op, regardless to what he done. As long as he ain't physically harm my family, we good. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make that clear. But it's like, when I say even the absolute, I'm talking about them showing respect when they see me. I don't get no disrespect from them, even though they still my ops. You know what I'm saying? So it was, and then I'm just, like I said, I come from a Panther way of thinking, so everything is always revolutionary with me. You know what I'm saying? And in the sense of making a change. So that whole thing was just showing how prepared we are. And the song is from mental to physical, we prepared for it, whatever it is. You know what I mean? We prepared to further the education to our people. We prepared to end oppression. You know what I mean? So we just levitate above things. We're higher than any negative charge. We above the negative charge and rising above it.
Definitely. I definitely got that message throughout the song to elevate your skills and what you're already trying to do and rise above the bullshit, basically, What I want to know is, are you guys planning on having a visual?
Yeah, we got a guy that does an anime, my brother Shinobi Kush, which he's a part of the Rulerz plant too. He's not a Rulerz artist, but he works with Art Producer Cinematic. They have like a Guru and Premiere thing going on, but Shinobi Kush is crazy with the animation. So he's working on a visual for it.
That's gonna be cold. That one song reminds me of Tupac, What You Won't Do for Love. You know how he had the animation or whatever? Yeah, that's gonna be cold. Yeah, I love it. And finally, but not least, why they call you Mr. Ripley?
It comes from, first of all, as a child, the books, the Ripley's Believe It or Not books. That was like, he had a book fair. That was the book I always bought. But my man Morris Hall used to always say that I'd be Rip, like he used to call me Rip, like, that was what he used to call me. So when the book came out, I read the book in high school, and that's a whole nother story. I don't really associate why I call myself Mr. Ripley with the book, but the book kind of like solidified that that was the name I was going to use. And it's crazy because I've been using that name probably for about a good 20-something years. But I really don't want to use it no more. But it's already there, so I gotta run with it. You know what I mean? So that's what I was just telling Pab the other day. Like I want to go back to just being identified as my parents' given name, the name they gave me. But it is what it is. I can work it. I'm gonna work it into how it goes.
That's crazy, Joe. So like, tell me if you just did it. Let's just say you did it. You changed your name from Mr. Ripley. What's your next phase? You just want your people to call you your government name?
My government name. Well, I don't say government name. I say my parents' given name. You know what I mean? That's the name that they chose for me. I really don't associate that with the government name, but they do have that name in the system. I'm sure they got whatever other name I go by in the system too, so it's all good. But yeah, I would just go by my given name, the parent, which is Kai Shimo. You know what I mean? To me, it sounds crazy anyway. Like, if I go to an interview with something, expecting to see a little Asian dude or something walking there. So it's always been mysterious. It was just like when I was young, I didn't really like the name because it was different from everybody else's. But now I understand what the name means, and I think, it'll be better for me with the industry. But like I said, I already been out here with Mr. Rip, so I'm gonna use him. He good. It's just my AKA, that's all it is.
I love it. So, but what does your parents' given name actually mean?
Well, Kai, they got the name from, they were on a honeymoon in Hawaii, and the traveling, the dude that was showing them around, tourist, was showing them, he was showing them around, that was his name. But the name has, you know, and it means like, in many different cultures, it almost has the same meaning, which is like new life. So it's like, I know in, I think it's Korean, it means eggs. And where they got it from in Hawaii, it just means like it's like a body of water. So, you know, that's just life, you know. So, and the last name is Shamo, which is crazy, you know. From what I understand from our family history, it comes from some French shit, you know. But then there's also, I have heavy Native American, which most of us in America do have history in our family. So we also know that that name was spelled and pronounced a different way before it became what it is. So we're not really sure if it came from France or did they just mispronounce and spell our name a different way to give us that name.
Oh, that's some deep family roots right there.
Yeah.
But basically what you say, you're gonna keep the name Mr. Ripley because it has so much history.
It's got history, so I'm gonna stay with it. But like I said, I'm gonna start finagling something different, and it's going. But I'm trying to figure out different styles now. You know what I mean? It's the trick for me at the age I am, and age don't mean shit. But you know, to stay relevant, besides making all this content and doing all this crazy stuff, that stuff makes me go where I don't want to go. I'm not this taking picture type of guy, you know what I mean? So me doing all this extra stuff for the content is different, but I'm working with it. I'm figuring it out. You know what I mean?
For sure. And why don't you let everybody know out there what you got coming up next with yourself and through music?
Since I dropped, I think it was the end of August, something like that, I dropped a song called Chi Chi, which is on a project that I got coming out with these producers. That's part of the in-home team. They call it the Beat Dealers, and then another brother named Hands. So it's them three. Those are guys I grew up with, and they all do beats. So we got a project called Third Rock from the Sun, which is done. But my plan is I wanted to drop some singles to get it buzzing, because I don't want it to, you know, it's a good project, so I don't want it to fall on deaf ears. And then I have the project that Levitate is on. That's a project with Tally Rodriguez and Cinematic. They're doing the production, and that project is done. So I got 2 projects I'm trying to drop before the year ends. That one's called Breakfast for Champions. The other one is Third Rock from the Sun. I also got a project done with Clipto. I forgot about that. That's Gunpowder and Paperwork, and that's done too. So I'm trying to get at least those 3 projects off. Plus, I've been dropping singles every week from somebody from Rulerz since August. So we done released, since Levitate, I done dropped like 3 more singles.
Man, you on the go for real. When you gonna come to Chicago and get an interview? Shoot.
I mean, I'm whenever, man. My man, Rufus Sims. Shout out to Rufus Sims. That's my bro, man. He's from Chicago, Rufus Sims. Yeah. So, you know, maybe if he got a show or something, come out there and do something.
All right, that sounds cool to me. Well, Mr. Ripley, thank you so much for your time and your patience coming on Speak Your Mind Radio. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to seeing the video for Levitate.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait till it's done. Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, peace out, Chicago. Thank y'all so much for your listenership as well. So, yeah. See you later, Mr. Ripley. Salute.
Peace. Thank you.